All right, Shalom. I want to start by saying, call Allah, Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, Kakadash. Double honors to the Pause of Israel, aka the Pause of Great Millstone, and peace and love to all the Akim. Continue to preach his truth and all truth and sincerity. All right, we're here once again, to prophesy the downfall of America and all the things leading up to it. And basically, what all the things happening right now is leading up to the downfall and destruction of America. Because contrary to popular belief, it's starting to be a little evident to more and more people. But at the end of the day, you still got some people that's going to be dead sleep until the Lord puts them in a dead sleep as far as America gets nuked, because that's going to be actual time where the Lord actually wakes up certain people to be like, yo, man, it's over, because people see that these nations are getting ready for war. America included, America, China, Russia. Well, you got some country that's already in war. Like America's already actually in war. They're already fighting in a war. You know what's going on over there in the Red Sea? That's America, the U.S. Navy fighting against them Houthis, and the I haven't heard too much about Hezbollah lately, but they're helping. They're aiding other countries that's fighting wars, like Ukraine, that's against Russia, like the small hats that's against all the Middle Eastern countries, Iran. They're allied with Taiwan and Japan and the Philippines, who are going against China right now. And that's actually what this article is about. As the title reads, it says America, what it said? Forget what I titled it again. It was a quote I saw from this article from the Daily Mail, which I won't get into. It says, America has warned China that today is not the day to start World War III. Well, the day is approaching where World War III is going to pop off on a broad scale. Like all these little skirmishes going on, these little wars and rumors of wars, this things that Yahawashi spoke about. But as time goes on, it's getting closer and closer to that great day. That great day where the Lord is going to gather all these nations. Second Esdras, the 13th chapter, that great multitude that Esdras saw. And then and also he saw the man that's going to come and make them into dust. That's all leading up to the day that's spoken about in the scriptures. All these little articles, all these little events, all the stuff that's happening, it's all leading up to the day of Yahawashi's return, who the world ignorantly called Jesus Christ. That's what people don't understand. Like all these things, they mean something. Every event that's happening now, it's been happening, but every event that's happening now just shows that we're actually closer to the actual day of the Lord. All the stuff happening with the digital currency, digital wallet, cashless society, the whole thing. They talking about a digital euro. That means what? That's the beast system. That's the mark of the beast. So and once they usher out that and give that to the masses, it's curtains for America. It's curtains for Esau. It's curtains for these nations having their foot over us, man. It's curtains for all these other nations, these actual Gentiles having their way with us and having the upper hand over the nation of Israel. Okay? But let me get into this article real quick. So this is from the Daily Mail. I use a thumbnail. And the title of the article reads, it says, America unveils next generation bomber and issues chilling World War III warning to China. Now, China, they've been getting their military ready. With Joel, the 3rd chapter, proclaiming this among the Gentiles, prepare war. And that's what these nations are doing. That's what these countries are doing. That's what these kingdoms are doing. They're preparing war. Just like Yahawashi said, wars, rumors of wars, nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom, pestilence, earthquakes, So getting into the article, it reads, it says, America has warned China that today is not the day to start World War III, as the U.S. Air Force unveiled its latest weapon to combat Beijing's military advances. The U.S. is accelerating tests and development of B-21 Raider, a stealth bomber that will be capable of delivering precision long-range strikes anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world, which means what? It's part of what? It's like ICBMs. Just like all these other countries, North Korea, they were talking about they're testing things that can strike America. And who's North Korea allied with? China, Russia. All right? It says the military placed an initial order of 100 aircraft, with experts expecting more B-21 Raiders to be commissioned soon afterwards. America unveiled the new bomber just weeks after China's military revealed 2 new combat aircraft of its own and surrounded Taiwan in an unannounced exercise. That was the world's largest naval demonstration since the end of World War II. Matter of fact, hold up. Let's get that. Hold up. I was speaking on it since they said that, since I mentioned World War II. So I'm gonna read that again. So when you read Revelation 11:14, and it says the second world was past, that's all about the Second World War. And it said the third world coming quickly, right? So I read that article again, and I'll read the scripture. So it says, America unveiled the new bomber just weeks after China's military revealed 2 new combat aircraft of its own and surrounded Taiwan. Now, Taiwan is an American ally. Surrounded Taiwan in an unannounced exercise. So they didn't even announce it to nobody. They just did it. And says that was the world's largest naval demonstration since the end of World War II. Now I'm going to read the scripture. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 11, verse 14, and it reads, the second war was past, which is World War II. And behold, the third woe coming quickly. And I'm going to read that in the NLT as well. It says, Revelation 11:14 in the NLT, the second terror is past. But look, the third terror is coming quickly. The third world war. The article the title of the article is, America unveils new generation bomber and issues chilling World War III. The third World War. World War III warning to China. So go back to the article. So I'm gonna read that one more time. So just to get some pretext, it says America, which is the daughter of Babylon, Babylon the Great, spoken of in the scriptures as well, that's going to be destroyed. It says America unveiled the new bomber just weeks after China's military revealed 2 new combat aircraft of its own and surrounded Taiwan in an unannounced exercise. That was the world's largest naval demonstration since the end of World War II. The second woe that passed, the Lord said. Experts warned that by 2027, China is expected to outnumber U.S. forces in the areas west of the international date line where American forces are deployed. The People's Liberation Army, PLA, is also rapidly advancing, with American officials warning its pace of modernization is unprecedented and far outpacing U.S. efforts. That's the daughter of Babylon. What did the Lord say? Spare no arrows. Jeremiah, the 50th chapter, where it talks about the daughter of Babylon and talks about all the other nations shooting arrows at her. Those arrows are the missiles. Those missiles that they're getting ready, those are the arrows. The flying swords. It says, the PLA is the largest and most modern that it has ever been. That is a risk. Is that? I don't know if that says that is risk. That is a risk. It said that is uncertainty. No, it said that is risk. That is uncertainty. 412th Test Wing Commander Brigade General Doug Wickert warned during a briefing earlier this month. We are the smallest and oldest that we have ever been. We are the smallest and oldest that we have ever been. What did the Lord say? Babylon is fallen. It is fallen. Sit down, O daughter of Babylon. Sit in the dust. There is no throne. It says, and it's talking about, I guess it's talking about America in general. It says, we are the smallest and oldest that we have ever been. It says Wickert, who leads one of the most important Air Force units, further argued the U.S. cannot afford to take a step backward before unveiling the new B-21 Raider and issuing its stark warning to Beijing. Today is not the day to start World War III because we have this, he said, gesturing to a large projection of the bomber. I think this is him. That's him in the picture, actually, then. Because that's the picture in the thumbnail. That's him. But it says, oh, but in your pride, you're still going to be talking shit. Here it is. You're saying that you're not really that good, well off, but yet you're still with pride. So it says, it says the Edwards Air Force Base is currently accelerating tests of the B-21 bomber and delivering integrated capability to the warfighter. Wickert revealed. It says this is one of the many things that you are working on right here that will change PLA Chairman Xi Jinping's calculus about our readiness, he said. So you trying to act like you ready to start with the big dogs, America. Now, don't get twisted. America still is a superpower. But at the end of the day, you got all these other nations saying that, yo, we got some shit too. And you gotta remember, America is allied to all these nations that their enemies are closer to. So they could do something. Remember, it said that they surrounded Taiwan in an unannounced exercise. That's why America is giving all that stuff over in that area, and they're gonna be sending more and more troops over there. And that's what they're preparing for. Man, let me get that real quick. If I'm staying, get to the blue letter. Oops. Gotta go to the book of Joel. This is the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 9. Now, I'm gonna read that in NLT. I'm gonna read both. Screw it. Joel chapter 3, verse 9. It says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. But when you go into NLT, it hits a little different. Because now, they try to say that all the Gentiles, this Gentile, that can be saved, right? But here's what the Lord is saying. And Joel chapter 3, verse 9 in the NLT. Say to the nations, far and wide, get ready for war. Call out your best warriors. Let all your fighting men advance for the attack. Now, what did they just do in Iran this past weekend? They just showed their readiness for war in the actual capital of Iran, Tehran. They showed their drones. They showed missiles. They said elite. They said elite military. It says what? Tell your best warriors. It says call out your best warriors. Let all your fighting men advance for the attack. Verse 10, it says, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say I'm strong. You got countries like Iran, North Korea, saying that, yo, we got some shit too. All these other countries saying that, yo, they got things they can combat with America. And that's not reassuring that the dude just said that we are the smallest and the oldest we've ever been. Because you're at your end. That's why they're saying they might have to inflict a draft. A U.S. military draft. 18 years old to 26 years old. Because why? The military is not strong. You got all these other countries, their military is way more advanced and way more numbers than America. And that matters. Ain't gonna be no Hollywood thing where America's gonna be down and out and then the worst under. No. The Lord is breaking down America to a T. The Lord is breaking down America so much that they're about to be nothing soon. Okay, so verse 10 in NLT, it says, hammer your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Train even your weaklings to be warriors. Train even your weaklings to be warriors. Now, let's get back to this article. No matter if I'm going to read verse 11. Joel chapter 3, verse 11. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. And in NLT it says, come quickly, all you nations everywhere. Oh, that hits a little better. Joel chapter 3, verse 11 in the NLT. It says, come quickly, all you nations everywhere. Gather together in the valley. And now, O Lord, call out your warriors. Remember, who are they going to have to end up fighting eventually? YAHAWASHI and the angels. YAHAWASHI and the angels, these nations are going to have to fight them. Him. And the Lord said that's when they're going to get destroyed. But the Lord is gathering up right now to fight each other. And some of them are fighting each other already. All right? Let's get back to the article. So it says, the PLA is preparing for conflict. Prepare for conflict. Prepare war. It says, according to U.S. officials who cited how the Chinese military in December was conducting mock aerial attacks on shipping in Taiwan's waters and formed a too-deep naval blockade to restrict sea and air approaches from the West. From the West. That's them. That's America. That's NATO. It says, Beijing's new super long-range fighter jet also appeared to take its maiden voyage on December 26th last year. The new jet was spotted alongside a Chengdu J-20, the current generation of fighters. The jet was seen flying with its landing gear open, a standing practice during early testing stages from the airfield of the Chengdu Aircraft Industry Group, which developed Chinese drones and fighters. Prepare war. Assemble yourselves. They're getting ready. It said what? We're preparing for conflict. This is the will of Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. Matter of fact, let's get another one. Real quick. So we talk about the See, man, I'm gonna start the NLT. So it's the book of Isaiah, chapter 13. And I'm gonna start at the top. Now it says, and then you go to the top. It says, on the King James side, it says prophecies about Babylon, which is America, Babylon the Great. And it says in the NLT, it says a message about Babylon, which is like, same wording. So in the King James, it says Isaiah chapter 13, verse 1, the burden of Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Amos did see. It says, I'm going to start in NLT. NLT hits better. It says, Isaiah chapter 13, verse 1 in the NLT, it says, Isaiah son of Amos received this message concerning the destruction of Babylon. Yeah. It's verse 1. So it says, Isaiah son of Amos says, received this message concerning the destruction of Babylon. Now, I wasn't talking about the Babylon back then, because when you read the scriptures and the prophecies, Babylon the Great, it says it should be utterly wasted and not inhabited again. Babylon, the land of Babylon, was inhabited again. It's called the land of Iraq. That land is inhabited to this present day by the Iraqis, who are at war too, as a matter of fact. But continuing on, it says, verse 2 of Isaiah chapter 13 in the NLT, it says, raise a signal flag on a bare hilltop. Call up an army against Babylon. Wave your hand to encourage them as they march into the palaces of the high and mighty. What are they talking about doing? Getting ready for war, conflict. War against America, NATO. Block off things from the West. That's what China said they're doing in Taiwan, blocking out things from the West. And that's what making what? That's making America get more and more busy. Verse 3 of Isaiah chapter 13 in the NLT, it says, I, the Lord, have dedicated these soldiers for this task. Yes, I have called mighty warriors to express my anger, and they will rejoice when I am exalted. Yes, we will rejoice when he is exalted. The prophets, the men like Isaiah, Ezekiel, Daniel, Jeremiah, the elect. Who are the elect are the ones proclaiming this among the Gentiles. From the apostles on down have been telling the nation that y'all going to go to war and then YAHAWASHI is going to destroy you. The one true living God is going to destroy you after you destroy each other. Or while you're destroying each other, because they're destroying each other as we speak. There's wars going on all across the globe already. Whether it be, it's not exactly missiles, but it's things going on. It's a bunch of conflict going on throughout the whole planet. Isaiah chapter 13, verse 4 in the NLT, it says, hear the noise on the mountains. Listen as the vast armies march. It is the noise and shouting of many nations. The Lord of heaven's armies has called this army together. So who is doing it? Yahawah BAHASHAM Yahawashi. He's the Lord of the heavens, man. Yahawah BAHASHAM Yahawashi. He said, and it said, that's basically the verse where he says, he mustereth the host of the battle. He mustereth the host of the battle. Because you don't hear them Muslims over there giving Allah the credit. You don't hear them small heads giving whatever they call them, whatever they say. You don't hear Buddha, you don't hear them Moabs giving Buddha the credit. None of these other nations are giving their God credit for what's going on right now and saying that this is why it's going on. But the Lord said what? The prophets of who? The prophets of Israel, of the nation of Israel, shall prophesy these things. Our weapons of warfare are not carnal, but the Gentiles, their weapons are carnal. Those missiles, those drones, aircraft, submarines. That's our carnal warfare. That they're going to have to all fight against each other. And then YAHAWASHI is going to come with the glory of the heavens armies. This is Isaiah chapter 13, verse 5 in the NLT. It says, they come from distant countries, from beyond the farthest horizons. They are the Lord's weapons to carry out his anger. With them, he will destroy the whole land. Remember, it said the message about Babylon. The ancient Babylon, the whole land wasn't destroyed and utterly wasted and not inhabited again. That's a future prophecy that the Lord said about the great Babylon the Great. He said that the Lord said that the Babylon the Great should not be inhabited again, except for by devils and evil birds and all that. When you go into the book of Revelation, the great feast that set for the fowls of the heavens, that's when that didn't happen for Babylon. When the Babylonians got taken out of power, that didn't happen for them. That land still got inhabited. And like, you know what I'm saying? So you gotta think about the in context when it talks about Babylon. And when we talk about Babylon the Great is America. There's been plenty of breakdowns and plenty of videos to explain it, if you need even further edification. This is Isaiah chapter 13, verse 6. I'm reading the King James and the NLT. In the King James, it says, "Howl ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty." But when you go into the NLT of Isaiah chapter 13, verse 6, it reads, "Scream in terror, for the day of the Lord has arrived. The time for the Almighty to destroy." The time for the Almighty to destroy. That's the time we coming to, man. That's the time we in. And then ultimately what? The whole land of America, Babylon the Great, is going to be destroyed. Let me go back to this article. Oops. Fuck. So continuing in the article, it says China's new fighter is speculated to have the ability to fly on edge of space and has been designed to target U.S. early warning aircraft and tankers that could not be reached before, according to defense news and analyst website The War Zone. Prepare war. The War Zone. The whole world is about to be a war zone. That's why it's called World War. It says, in addition, fuck, come on, man, with the pop-ups. Anyway, it says, in addition to testing its new jet, Wicker says that Beijing has also built a full-scale replica of Taiwan's Taichung International Airport in the Gobi Desert, complete with runways, taxiways, and parking lots. Nearby, the PLA has created a life-size outline of a U.S. Navy USS Gerald R-4 class aircraft carrier and has mock-ups of U.S. destroyers that weave evasively through the desert on rails. You hear that? Do you hear that? Shalom to the person watching. They're getting ready. It says, "Do you think we know what we know what they're doing, what they're planning?" Wicker says, "Based on what you know now, can you update your assessment of the risk to the world and how important our mission is?" Woo! How important our mission. They talk about this Babylon that's going. But remember what the Lord said in Isaiah about Babylon. He said, "For the Lord, it's time for the Lord to destroy." So he's building up Moab. He's building up all these nations, even other Edomite countries. Ishmael, Elam. It says, and that's why what we are doing here at Edwards Air Force Base is so very important, because we are developing and modernizing and doing those things that will change Chairman Z's calculus. It says, he added, we cannot afford to have to take a step backward. That's a typo. We cannot afford to take a step backward because we have a mishap. Our mission is too important. Wickard also highlighted the threat of Chinese cyber espionage, noting how at least a dozen telecom companies have admitted that their critical infrastructure was infected by Beijing malware, leaving the U.S. and its Western allies vulnerable. Cyber attacks now, not just the missiles. It says the CCP now knows who my government phone has talked to for at least the last 4 years, and they're still here, and we can't get them out, he said. That's uncertainty. Oh, excuse me. So I guess the CC, what is that? What does that stand for? I guess that's the Chinese people. So it says the CCP now knows who my government phone has talked to for at least the last 4 years, and they're still there, and we can't get them out, he said. That's uncertainty. That's risk, and it makes for a very, very dangerous world right now. So that means that China got the drop on American government phone calls. Just think about that. And they're not telling the people that. People ain't reading about this. It says, and that's why what they're getting more of their military ready, because they see that they got the cyber thing. They remember, America is not the big man on campus it once was. It's not. And China is showing that right now, just China alone. Okay, it said the B-21 is expected to become the backbone to Global Strike Command bomber fleet and will incrementally replace the B-1 Lancer and B-2 Spirit. It is a long-range, highly survivable, penetrating strike stealth bomber that will play a major role supporting national security objectives and assisting the U.S. allies and partners across the globe. World War. It says the weapon system with each one is projected to cost $750 million. It's manufactured under the Air Force's contract with Northrop Grumman. The B-21 Raider weighs about 30,000 pounds, has a wingspan of 172 feet, and can reach maximum speeds of 621 miles per hour. It is touted to be virtually invisible to all enemy stealth radars and will be equipped with the latest features in military tech. It is designed with an open system architecture, enabling rapid insertion of mature technologies and allowing the aircraft to remain effective as threats evolve over time, according to the U.S. Air Force. It says as threats evolve over time. Because yes, America's threatened right now. It says the B-21 Raider is a nuclear-capable craft and the first of its kind to be introduced since the end of the Cold War, which is the 60s. It says long-term, the Air Force hopes to have at least 220 of them to replace old B-1 and B-2 bombers. The service previously estimated that the program would likely cost at least $203 billion over 30 years to develop, purchase, and maintain a B-21 fleet. So they 30 years from now. I hope it ain't going to be that long, but that's what they're saying. It said the B-21 is part of the Pentagon's efforts to modernize all three legs of its nuclear triad, which also includes silo-launched nuclear ballistic missiles and submarine-launched warheads as it shifts from the counter-T campaigns of recent decades to meet China's rapid military modernization. So they're doing everything based on China's advancement, which means what they're saying, they're playing catch-up. America's playing catch-up to China, and that's just one country. You still got Russia. You still got North Korea. You still got Iran. All them other Muslim countries. But you talk about these superpowers alone. The dude said, one of ex-U.S. military guy said America would lose a war with China alone. The dude from America even said our military is the smallest and oldest it's ever been. That's why what? They're getting their missiles ready. They're getting all these drones and all that ready. Because it's not going to be about man. Oh, matter of fact, hold up. Let's get that. Oh. Speaking of which, going back to the book of Isaiah. Oh, come on. So this is the book of Isaiah. I'm going to read both, the King James and the NLT. Isaiah chapter 9, verse 5, and it reads, "For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire." What are those missiles? What are those bombs? Fuel of fire. Remember, they have it to where they're just going to shoot these missiles. And in the military, they're going to be like wherever they're going to be at. But if you go to the NLT of Isaiah chapter 9, verse 5, it reads, "The boots of the warrior and the uniforms bloodstained by war will all be burned up. They will be fuel for the fire." So all the military men, all going to be burned up. Which was, which would help. So that's said for BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. So now, I didn't even plan on bringing this up, but since it said that, so I'm going to read that again. So this is the book of Isaiah chapter 9, verse 5. It says the boots of this NLT. It says the boots of the warrior and the uniforms bloodstained by war will all be burned. They will be fuel for the fire. So you read that in NLT. It says, for every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood. But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. And it said in the NLT, it said there's gonna be fuel of fire. So all these military people, they all gonna get burnt up. All the aircrafts, all the submarines, all that is all gonna get burned up by Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. So let's go to the book of Esdras. Hold up, where did this start? Now for pretense, now when you go into the book of Second Esdras, the 13th chapter, that's all about who the world called Jesus Christ when he comes back and destroys the nations. As he says in the book of Joel, he says he shall sit and judge all the heathen round about. That's all about YAHAWASHI, right? So, in this vision, Esdras saw, it's talking about this man that he's seen is the Lord. It's going to go into, I'm reading. So, this is the book of Second Esdras, chapter 13. I'm going to start at the top. And it reads, and it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night. So, he's having a dream. It says, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea that it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. That's all in the earth. It's all going to be under him. Except for those that get delivered. And remember that America's going to be completely wiped out. It says, verse 4, 2nd Esdras chapter 13, it said, this is the Apocrypha. This is why they took it out. They took the Apocrypha out for good reasons. Because the Apocrypha has very deep edification in it. But continuing on in 2nd Esdras chapter 13, verse 4, it says, and whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it feeleth the fire. Speaking of which, like in California, right? You say that part of the earth is just burning up. The Lord gonna do that with a whole landmass, with his own being. He's gonna be the wildfire, all right? But I continue on in 2nd Esdras chapter 13, verse 5, and it says, and after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. That great multitude was the nation's armies. Like it said in Isaiah the 34th chapter. The nations gathered, he said he's going to slaughter their armies, right? It says verse 6, it says, but I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew upon it. Now that's a chariot, man. The so-called UFOs, UAPs, whatever they call it. That's a chariot. The chariot that the Lord and the angels are going to be coming in, man. And the things that that the Lord is going to use to deliver his elect. Remember, the Lord is the chariot that they call UFOs, those are the saving instruments that the Lord is going to use to deliver his elect, man. It says, verse 7, it says, but I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not. So he said the chariot was so big in size that it looked like a mountain was graven. But he said he couldn't see where the mountain came from. And it says in verse 8 of 2nd Esdras chapter 13, and it says, and after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet there's fight. So that great multitude he saw, which is the nation's armies, which he said in Isaiah, where it says what? That great multitude, the Lord is going to destroy their armies. That's the same situation talked about in this book right here, 2nd Esdras, the 13th chapter. And it says in verse 9, and lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, so he's seeing it. So YAHAWASHI, remember YAHAWASHI here. He on the chariot. You have the other nations, they all fighting each other already. They've been fighting each other. But now he's here. And now all the attention's on him. That's why, speaking of which. Oops, New Testament. Nah, I'm going to go to the point is in verse 7, but I'm going to start at verse 3 of Revelation chapter 1. And it reads, it says, blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand. That's it, for the time is at hand. The time is at hand. And we go into NLT, it says, Yahweh blesses the one who reads the words of this prophecy to the church. When you go into the word church, it means the assembly of Israelites, Ecclesiastes, the assembly of Israelites. Israel, only you could be an Israelite, only be a church if you're an Israelite. Because it said the assembly of Israelites. It says church's prophecy to the church. And it says, and he blesses all who listen to his message and obey what it says, for the time is near. Same book, Revelation, in a couple chapters after, in 11th chapter, it says what? The third woe cometh quickly. The time is at hand. The time is at hand as we speak. Then the time been at hand. Since the time that John wrote this. But now the time is at hand more than ever. Because we're actually at the actual end. Because since Yahawashi was risen, he went on the cross, he was risen, went back. That's when the countdown really started. It was on and popping, the countdown started. Because they asked him when he was risen again. He said what? They asked him what? What should be the sign of that coming? What should be the sign of the end of the world? Second Esdras, this same book. I was just reading in the 13th chapter, and the 6th chapter, it talks about what? Esau at the end of the world. Esau, the so-called white man, the so-called white race, the nation of Edom. This goes all the way back to the book of Genesis. Jacob and Esau, the two brothers, both receiving the fatness of the earth, but one not receiving it for an everlasting kingdom, but for a time. And now the time is up. That's why he's doing all this war stuff. That's why he's about to bring out the MOTB. That's why he's doing all this digital currency, cashless society. This is signs of the end. And they can't get around it. No one can stop it. And we don't want to stop it. We want it to continue. Hey, let the days keep flying by. The Lord said he shortened the days. And I'm going to jump down to verse 5. And it says, and from Yahawashi, who is the faithful witness and the first begotten of the dead, and the prince of the kings of the earth, unto him that loved us and washed us from our sins in his own blood. His pure blood, what? Sinless blood, sinless vessel. That's what Yahawashi came in the flesh and did. He did that. He came in the flesh and not committed not one sin, which is pleasing to the Lord. That's why he was pleasing to the Lord. He was the only person on the earth that ever came on the earth and never sinned. Now, granted, when Yahawashi comes back, we're going to be purified, but he's the only one that actually came in this defiled state, in this age. Esau's rule at that. He came flawless and never sinned. That's why they say he's the first and the last, the Alpha and Omega. And we read that in NLT of Revelation chapter 1, verse 5, it says, and from Yahawashi, he is the faithful witness to these things, the first to rise from the dead. Now, what do you mean that first to rise from the dead? The first that the Father rose from the dead, right? He was the first to rise from the dead and the ruler of all the kings of the world. All glory to him who loves us and has freed us from our sins by shedding his blood for us. Why was his blood the one able to be shed? Because the Lord said, well, he did away with the sacrifice of the bulls and goats and all that, animal sacrifices. That's what the Lord said. For who loved Israel, he gave up his own, for John 3:16, for that world being Israel, but gave up his only begotten son. He died for the sins of many. Who are the many? The elect of Israel, the remnant of Jacob. The ones right now that standing so stiffly for the names of Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, doing it to the best of their ability. Verse 6 of Revelation chapter 1, read King James and NLT, it says, and have made us kings and priests unto Yahweh and his Father. To him be glory and dominion forever and ever. And we go into NLT, it says, he has made us a kingdom of priests for Yahweh his Father. All glory and power to him forever and ever. Amen. It starts with Yahawashi. Yahawashi is the only one that came here perfect. Every time no one's perfect, well, there's one guy that's perfect. His name is Yahawashi. And soon the whole world, every knee shall bow, every tongue shall confess that he is the Son of the one true living God. Even our own people that don't believe. Verse 7. So I'm reading NLT and the King James. So in the King James in Revelation chapter 1, verse 7, it reads, behold, he comes with clouds, those clouds being chariots, and says, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him, even so, amen. So what? What did it say in the 2nd Esdras, the 13th chapter? It said, though they fear, they durst fight. They're going to wail, they're going to see, they're going to be shook. Everybody's going to be, the whole world is going to take notice on when Yahawashi come back. Even if he didn't come with the glory of the angels and the glory of the heavens, if he just came back alone solely, the world would shut the fuck up. So we go into the NLT of Revelation chapter 1 verse 7, it reads, look, he comes with clouds of heaven, and everyone will see him, even those who pierced him, and all nations of the world will mourn for him. Yes, amen. All so why are the nations going to mourn for him if they're going to be saved? Why would the nations be in fear of him? Why would all the nations wail because of his sight? Why would they do that if the Lord said he's going to come save everybody like they say in the churches? Why did the Lord say that many more shall perish and be saved? Why did the Lord say he turned them into... Man, let me get that back in second Esdras. Why would they be afraid if they think they're going to be, if they know they're going to be delivered? Because these nations don't believe in being saved from the God of Jacob. They don't push that in they don't push that in the earth. You'll hear these other nations talk about, yeah, when the God of the Bible comes back. No, they're going to have to see him live in color. And they're going to see that he looks just like the people that they've been oppressing for all these years, all these centuries, especially you Edomites, you so-called white people. What you did to us over here in the land of America alone. The Lord didn't forget it, man. The Lord didn't wipe. There's no clean slate. The clean slate will be you being put into slavery. Jeremiah 30:17, or 16 or 17 says, all those that devour thee shall be devoured. They shall all go into captivity, every one of them. Every one of you nations that's not part of the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, you're going to go into captivity under the nation of Israel. The so-called Negroes, so-called Latinos, so-called Native Americans, and the people of that descent. We're going to be the ones to rule on the earth. You've had your turn. This is your last turn. All you nations to have over the nation of Israel, the children of Jacob, sons and daughters of the children of Israel, the sons and daughters of Jacob. So continue on, actually. So I'm going to read 2 Esdras chapter 13. We'll go back to verse 8, and it says, and after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet there's fight. So why would they go to subdue him if Lord coming to deliver everybody? That's what the churches say. That's what the Christian churches say. They say, oh, when so-called Jesus Christ comes back, he's going to gather all the nations. That's not what it says right here, because this vision is talking about him. And it says in verse 9, in 2 Esdras chapter 13, verse 9, it says, and lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. Verse 10, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. That's the day of the Lord. That's the day who the world called Jesus Christ. That's what he's coming to do to most of the world and the nations. To burn them up. The Lord ain't coming back to deliver every single person. What sense would that make? If that was the case, why is it every single person under the curses? It should be one human race under the curses. And the Lord coming back saying that, yeah, boom, this is what's going to happen now. Now you, all the humans, didn't take heed to my commandments. He always said, what? It's given to Jacob for a law. Matter of fact, I'm going to read this again, continuing this. 2 Esdras chapter 13, verse 11, and it says, and they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight. So why are they prepared to fight someone about to save them? It says, and burned them up every one, so that upon the sudden of an innumerable multitude, nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. And this is a dream he saw. He saw this. This is what he dreamt this, visioned this. And he said he saw this. He was sore afraid, as he should be. Why do you think the other nations are going to wail because of him? Verse 12, and it says, and afterwards saw I the same man come down from the mountains, and called unto him another peaceable multitude. And there came much people unto him, where were so glad, some were glad, some were sorry, and some of them were bound. And others some brought of them that were offered. Then was I sick through great fear, and I awaked and said, verse 14, it says, thou hast showed thy servant these wonders from the beginning, and hast counted me worthy that thou shouldest receive my prayer. Verse 15, it says, show me now yet the interpretation of this dream. So now the Esdras, I believe he told to the angel Uriel still, he asked him, now show me the interpretation of this dream. And he says, for verse 16, it says, for as I can conceive in my understanding, woe unto them that shall be left in those days, and much more woe unto them that are not left behind. Verse 17 says, for they that were not left were in heaviness. Now understand I the things that are laid up in the latter days, which shall happen unto them, and in those that are left behind. What? So we're in the latter days. These are the last days. It says, verse 19, it says, therefore are they come into great perils and many necessities, like as these dreams declare. It says, yet it is easier for him that is in danger to come into these things than to pass away as a cloud out of the world, and not to see the things that happen in the last days. And he answered unto me and said, yo, so people that died, so you got people that, got Israelites that died, they're not going to see Jacob's trouble. They're not going to see certain things as the ones left behind. No? Someone said, it says, the interpretation of the vision shall I show thee, and I will open unto thee the thing that thou hast required. Whereas thou hast spoken of them that are left behind, this is the interpretation. He that shall endure the peril in that time hath kept himself. They that be fallen into danger are such as have works and faith toward the Almighty. So that's talking about the elect, the ones that get delivered. It says, know this therefore, verse 24 says, know this therefore, that they which are left behind are more blessed than they that be dead. This is the meaning of the vision, whereas thou sawest a man coming up from the midst of the sea. The same is he whom Yahawah the highest hath kept a great season, which by his own self shall deliver his creature, and he shall order them that are left behind. Verse 27, it says, and where that's the left behind that's going to be delivered, though. It says, and whereas thou sawest that out of his mouth there came out as a blast of wind and fire and storm. And verse 28, and it says, that held neither sword nor any instrument of war, but that the rushing of him destroyed the whole multitude that came to subdue him. This is the interpretation. Now you talk about the man that he saw. The man that he saw, which is YAHAWASHI. But he's going to go into it. It says, Second Ezra chapter 13, verse 29, and it reads, behold, the days come when the Most High will begin to deliver them that are upon the earth. So the ones that behind that are part of the elect, right? It says, and he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell on the earth. So he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell on the earth. So they all gonna see him. White thing, it says, every eye shall see him. Every single human is going to see Yahawashi when he returns. Nobody's going to miss it when Yahawashi returns. It's going to be loud. It's going to be bright. You ain't going to just stay in the house from that. All right? It said, and he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell in the earth. Verse 31, it says, and one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against another, and one realm against another, one realm against another. It says, and the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, and a sign shall happen. Now, there's a bunch of signs that was shown in the book of 2nd Esdras, man. The 6th chapter, 7th chapter, 8th chapter, 9th chapter. It says in verse 32, it says, and the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, and a sign shall happen which I showed thee before. And then shall my son be declared, whom thou sawest as a man ascending. This is the Most High saying this through the angel. Talk about that was the son. The same son that's mentioned in the book of Revelation. You see that? Precept upon precept, line upon line. It's the same scenario, the same story, the same man. What did those, hold up. Matter of fact, speaking of which, let me get some proof on that. What's that? Luke chapter 24, verse. That's Yahawashi speaking. So this is Yahawashi speaking to his men. So it's the book of Luke chapter 24, verse 42. But the point is in verse 44, and it says, and they gave him a piece of a broiled fish and of a honeycomb, and he took it and he did eat before them. And he answered unto them. That was red letter. This is verse 24. That was 43 when he said he took the bread and said before them, he did eat before them. And Luke 24 and 44, and this is red letter. If you can see it. Red letter. You see that? That's how. So when you see red letter in the scripture, to all those that don't know, that's when it's talking about Yahawashi speaking out of his own lips. So it's Luke 24 and 44, and it reads, and he said unto them, These are the words which I spake unto you while I was yet with you, that all things must be fulfilled, which were written in the law of Moses, which is what? The Old Testament. And, oh, it went dark. So all things must be fulfilled, which are written in the law of Moses, and in the prophets, and in the Psalms concerning me. Yahawashi is, Esdras was a prophet. He spoke of the Lord. It said all things must be fulfilled. So what? He got to bring out this MOTB. The MOTB, these nations got to go to war more. The third war coming quickly, but the third war has to come to where the great multitude is they already have their weapons together. You see how they're gathering, they're preparing war now. They're all getting their missiles, their drones, all that ready. They got a lot ready, but it's going to continue until this devil lays out the new system, and then that's when Yahawashi comes back. I don't see 30 years from now. They talk about 30 years, it'll all be developed, but no. They're going to do things quick. Remember, Revelation 12:12. I'm going to read that in NLT, Luke chapter 24, verse 44, and he says, then he said, when I was with you before, I told you that everything written about me in the law of Moses and the prophets and in the Psalms must be fulfilled. So how was I talking about it said what? I come in the volume of the book. All written about him. Let's go to that, what Esdras the prophet wrote about him. So I'm going to read that in 2nd Esdras chapter 13, verse 32. And it says, and the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, like Yahawashi said in the book of Luke. And it says, and the signs shall happen which I showed thee before, and then shall my son be declared, whom thou sawest as a man ascending. Yahawashi, my son, the Lord talked about his son. Who else fits that description? His son. That thou sawest as a man ascending. It says, verse 33, it says, and when all the people hear his voice, every man shall in their own land leave the battle. They have one against another. And that's what these nations are preparing for now. China, America, Russia, Iran, North Korea, Taiwan, Japan, Philippines, Africa, all the African countries, all the Muslim countries, Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria. They're all getting ready for this. And again, 2nd Esdras chapter 13, verse 33, and it says, and when all the people hear his voice, every man shall in their own land leave the battle they have one against another. So what? They're going to stop fighting each other. And that's what they're doing right now. They're all fighting each other. And they're going to continue to fight each other more and more as more nations get involved. They're all going to fight each other to make it a World War III, the third woe, that cometh quickly. Verse 34, and it says, and an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together as thou sawest them, willing to come and to overcome him by fighting. They're going to try to fight against Yahawashi. All those Air Force, all that, they're going to go against, they're going to fight each other. They be fighting each other, and Yahawashi is going to show himself. And they're going to see him. And they're going to be like, oh, what the hell? Probably might be like a little brief pause, because it said all kings shall shut their mouths at him. So it's going to be a brief pause, it's going to be quiet. It's going to be a fearful thing, the elect getting delivered. They seeing the strangeness of our salvation. Lord, we hope to be part of the elect. They seen the strangeness of salvation of the elect being delivered off from the earth. They see as Yahawashi descending on the earth, the elect being ascended up there. It said what? They shall meet him in the air and be glorified together. The dead in Yahawashi shall rise first. So the people that's dead, part of the elect that passed on, they're going to rise first in Yahawashi. And the ones that's left on the earth going to be, we all going to meet each other. Right? So they're going to leave the battle they have one against another, right? 2nd Esdras chapter 13, verse 34, and it reads, and an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together as thou sawest them, willing to come and to overcome him by fighting. Verse 35, it said, but he shall stand upon the top of the Mount Sion, and Sion shall come and shall be showed to all men, being prepared and builded, like as thou sawest the hill graven without hands, the chariots, the deliverance. It says, verse 37, it says, and this my son shall rebuke the wicked inventions of those nations, which for their wicked life are fallen into the tempest. What? All their bombs, all their missiles, all their drones, the Lord gonna burn all that shit up. He's gonna burn all that shit up. His own aura gonna burn it up. But he ain't coming alone. He coming with a whole army too. It said one realm against another. Verse 38, and it reads, and shall lay before them their evil thoughts and the torments whereof they shall begin to be tormented, which are like unto a flame, and he shall destroy them without labor by the law which is like unto me. And whereas thou sawest that he gathered another piece, there's something else. But see that? He's going to destroy the nations. And his fury and his glory. And his indignation, said the Lord says indignation against the nations. The weapons of his indignation are these missiles. He's having them build these nuclear missiles, build these nuclear drones, all that shit, man. Nuclear submarines, aircraft. The Lord is having these prepare war. Wake up a mighty man. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Assemble. Hold on, let me read that. Joel 3 and was that 3 and 11? Joel chapter 3 verse 11, and it reads, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty one to come down, O Lord. Assemble yourselves, and that's what the nations are doing right now. They're assembling themselves. What did that do for America say? We're preparing for conflict. But you have no idea about the conflict y'all all about to face together. Yeah, y'all gonna fight each other, but at the end of the day, it's really about fighting against YAHAWASHI, and that's where you're gonna get destroyed. Joel chapter 3 verse 11 in the NLT. Oh, it's actually hit a little better. This is Joel chapter 3 verse 11, and it reads, come quickly, all you nations everywhere. Gather together in the valley, and now, O Lord, call out your warriors. Call out your warriors. The Lord said he got a controversy for Zion, man. Because what did the Lord say he's gonna do that to these nations for? What? For what they did to us. They parted his land. They sold it to each other for naught. Sold the boy for wine, sold the girl for wine, sold the boy for a harlot, so on and so forth. I could be mixing it up. The Lord said, well, he gonna get you. Whoa! Speaking of which, hold up. And this is prophecy. The Lord said what? To follow the things of the prophecy, man. These are all future prophecies that's about to come to pass as we speak. These prophecies are being rolled out as we speak. Oops. So this is Joel chapter 30, verse 16, and it reads, they both hit good. I'm gonna start with 16 in the King James. I'm gonna read both. I'm gonna read a few verses in both. So this is Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 16 in the King James. It says, therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured, all thine adversaries. Every one of them shall go into captivity, and they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. Will I give for a prey. And you read the NLT, it says, but all who devour you will be devoured, and all your enemies will be sent into exile. All who plunder you will be plundered, and all who attack you will be attacked. All these nations attack us in more ways than one, not just physically, monetarily. All these nations come to America where the most of the Israelites are at. What said, the strength shall get high above thee. They profit off of us continually every day. They profit off the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, which make up the children of Israel. Even where we're scattered, because you got the scattered Israelites and these other nations that they living fucked up too over there. Oops. But he says, verse 17, it says, for I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds, saith the Lord, YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, because they call thee an outcast, saying, this is Zion whom no man seeketh after. And we go into NLT, it says, I will give you back your health and heal your wounds. What? These wounds of captivity, says the Lord. For you are called an outcast, Jerusalem, for whom no man cares. So what? The people of Jerusalem is a people before a place, and the people that are called Jerusalem are not in the land of Jerusalem right now. We are outcasts. We're in the land of our captivity on the whole other side of the world, actually. Verse 18, and it says, thus saith the Lord, behold, I will bring again the captivity of Jacob's tents, and have mercy on his dwelling places, and the city shall be builded upon her own heap, and the palace shall remain after the manner thereof. So what? It ain't gonna be no more. Our palace is gonna be sieged. How they siege Jerusalem 70 AD? How they sieging us now? They took us out of Africa, this west coast of Africa, and brought us over here in cargo slave ship to serve slavery. So we've been outcasts. So we go to verse 18 in the NLT, it says, this is what the Lord says, when I bring Israel home again from captivity, So those people, because y'all had your little cost, y'all went back, y'all back in the land of Israel, y'all own everything, you reap benefits, but yet people are still at war, yet you're not immortals. There's no King David. Y'all missing. It's a lot of it's a lot of red flags. It's a lot of things that prove that you're not the real children of Israel, Amalek. Who you really are, Amalek. Remember Amalek. It says that when I bring Israel home again from captivity, where's home? The land of Israel. So the people of Israel brings back to the land of Israel. It says and restore their fortunes. Jerusalem will rebuilt on its ruins, and the palace reconstructed as before, as in the days of old. And this ain't gonna never go down, and we never gonna go down again. We're never gonna go into captivity ever again. Ever again. We're never the children of Israel, the people known as Jerusalem, the children of Jacob / Israel, the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We're never gonna be in captivity ever again. Thus saith Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. Thus saith the Lord of heavens, the Lord of heaven's armies. It says, verse 19, it says, and out of them shall proceed thanksgiving, and the voice of them that make merry. And I will multiply them, and they shall not be few. I will also glorify them, and they shall not be small. Those children, you got Israel, you got some so-called small hats. Yeah, they in the land of Israel, but they also over here. And their shit's being destroyed over there. They're getting bombed. The Lord said, what? Not this, I think the next chapter in Jeremiah 31, it said, none shall make them afraid. Those people in Israel now, they're afraid because bombs flying over their heads every day. They've been being attacked for a whole almost 2 years soon. Once October of 2023 comes, it's going to make it 2 years since this so-called war has been going on with the small hats and the Palestinians and Hamas and all of them. But hey. Yeah, but that's pretty much it. I wanted to bring out, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, it's going down, man. It's up. It's up. And nothing nobody could do about it. And you see how the diamond just flying. Here it is. We already almost, we halfway through January now? Trump gonna get in office in the next few days. We're gonna see what's gonna happen. Let's see what the future tells. Well, we know the end game is America's gonna be destroyed by nuclear destruction. But as the days go by, what each day brings, okay? Because each day is gonna be bringing one day closer to what? Who the world called Jesus Christ, his name Yahawah's return. So, with that, Lord willing, this is edifying. I'm going to give all praises to Yahawah, BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM Rakakadash. Double honors to the positive Israel, aka the positive great millstone, and peace and love to all the Akim. Continue to preach the truth and all truth and sincerity. Shalom.